Sometimes, believer content creators will have full-blown conversations with an atheist, but be the atheist that they're talking to, and then completely bugger up what atheists usually say, just to make their position seem correct. This comedian is pretty funny, but doesn't act atheist right at all. So let's help him out, shall we? Hello, I'm the Skeptic, the British floating circle that watches people make extraordinary claims, and then I explain why I don't accept what they're saying. There are plenty of atheists in the world, and a decent amount that are regular content creators on YouTube, so I don't know why this dude, God Comedy, needs to be both sides of the conversation, but doesn't do the best job at it. So let's see what theists say when atheists want the very unreasonable proof of a god. However, before we hear a very accurate and completely not incorrect conversation between a guy and, well, himself, if this isn't your first Skeptic video, hit the like, the subscribe and the bell, and maybe we can prove that the algorithm exists. And a super thanks to those that hit super thanks in some recent videos. Galactic Vagabond, Kevin, Condor Boss, Megatron Jenkins, Chris Slowmo, Strad, John Gavin, and Andreas Eld Sweden. Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe bestows leaves upon you all. More hen. It's not weird to talk to yourself, right? It's only crazy if you answer yourself back. Uh-oh.
There is no way I can believe in God. There's no proof. I refuse to believe him. Oh, Sucka, you need proof of everything, huh? Of course, Goof. What's his point? All you people do is say, my book said so, so it's true. That's not convincing enough for me.
Just so you know, theist guy doesn't wear glasses, atheist guy does, so he can read the script that's up there somewhere.
I have never once heard anything logical come from you Christians. You guys walk around here with your book of wishes and thinking it actually means real sense.
See, if you'd had some conversations with atheists, you'd know that no one really says that. More that until the holy book of any religion is proven to be the word of the God it claims is the one, atheists don't care what it says.
No one lives their lives based on proof alone. You need faith, whether you like it or not. I told you this before, it takes more faith to be an atheist.
No, it takes zero faith to be an atheist. Faith is how you conclude a positive assertion without evidence to back it up. No evidence suggests no good reason to accept. If an atheist used faith, there'd be hundreds of different faiths to choose from, right? Muslim faith, Christian faith, Hindu faith. That's just not how it works.
What? I find that laughable. What don't you understand? Here we go again with this blind faith tomfoolery. You're still holding on to this sense of false hope. I don't share faith like you people. I don't. I'm sorry.
And there we go. His atheist character uses faith, which is just incorrect. I know you're a comedy channel, dude, but still get some facts straight too.
Do you believe you can be wrong about any of your thoughts or what you just said today? Of course I do, but I have the confidence level to know I'm not. You see, there is a range of confidence that people can have. It's called confidence, not faith. You misunderstand, you're just wrong.
I think the only misunderstanding here is from the pretend atheist character. I'm not confident that I'm not wrong. I'm just not convinced that believers are right. Though with some definitions of gads, I can be convinced that they are wrong, but just not confident.
Becoming a Christian is not a matter of going to unbelief of God to belief in God. It's going from suppressing the truth to professing the truth. You don't have faith, you have confidence. Confide from the Latin, meaning with faith.
Well, if you're playing that game, I'm sticking with convinced. Not that it matters, because there's nothing to suggest there is a God. You're just playing with words right now.
Did you really think you said something? Even if that proves in a way I have faith, it's certainly not blind faith like you believe.
Why is the atheist character shouty and whiny? Is that really how believers see us? I think he needs to add more sarcasm.
I want you to understand that is not what Christians believe. The meaning of faith is, like other religions do, submitting to turning off their brain for blind faith. You can keep your reasoning and be spiritual. In Hebrews, it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, spiritual, and the evidence of things not seen. The evidence of things not seen. Logical and reasoning. Think of it like a fill in the blank. The answer must be this because we have or see this. For example, you have a car. There must be keys that exist.
A book saying that faith is evidence doesn't make it so. And, of course, we know how cars are made and that they require keys. That's not even close to an equivalence.
Even if you can't find them or see them. In a math equation, you're not going to say it's nothing or you just don't know. You look at the evidence and you figure it out. Every problem has a solution.
Exactly. So you do understand. So instead of saying it must be a god without evidence for it, because there really isn't any evidence for it, you find the solution?
If our faith is blind and without reason, why would I go to such great lengths to argue and reason with you rather than just demand you stop thinking, stop asking questions, and just have faith?
Because people believe things and are convinced of things so hard that they refuse to see any other reasoning. I'm going to guess this fella was brought up with religion and that his folks believe in a god and their folks too. That's a lot of people you respect to then say, I don't think they're right. I get it. And especially in the USA, where if you say to your elders, I don't believe the thing you believe, you're cast out. If the same thing was to happen in the UK, parents would say, you don't believe? Okay, do you want a cup of tea? It's about time the respect your elders was changed to respect the fact that not everyone is convinced of silly things.
The good old trust me, bro. All right. So by the Bible's definition, you don't believe blindly. I respect that, actually.
I don't, and I doubt a huge amount of atheists would respect a belief that comes from such a terrible, murderous, incestuous, immoral book.
But the faith you have still doesn't exhibit reasonable proof. I will not bring up the Bible and still prove to you that God exists. Oh, by all means, go on. I want to see this proof.
Me too. Oh man, I can't believe I'm playing along with this.
Did you know there's no such thing as proof in the scientific world? There's only evidence. Jack Fraser, master's physicist at the University of Oxford, said this. He said nobody can prove that things will always fall down when you drop them. Nobody can prove that energy is conserved. Nobody can prove that dark matter exists. Nobody can prove that quantum physics is real, because that is not what science is about. Instead, the very definition of science relies on collecting strong evidence to support or refute a theory, as the concept of proof is typically used with absolute certainty, which is not achievable in the world of science.
It is achievable in the world of a god? No? Then why the bloody hell would you accept a god exists if there's nothing to support the evidence of its existence?
I love science. Probably more than your average atheist, to be honest with you. But to view science as the understanding of everything is a myopic way of thinking.
It's there to explain things in the natural and observable. You seem to be dodging the question by pointing out your issues with science rather than demonstrating a god without the Bible.
This comes as a bit of a shock to many people. At school, we're taught science in terms of being absolute facts. This attitude carries all the way into college and even adulthood. This is a form of indoctrination.
Indoctrination? Showing how things work and demonstrating it over and over. Look, if you like this gunpowder, it goes boom. If you like this gunpowder, it also goes boom. And this. And this. Congratulations, you've apparently now been indoctrinated.
Science is your religion, or your worldview rather, and you believe in it with faith, confide, to be true. The problem is, quite simply, this way of thinking doesn't exist in the real world.
Not faith. Demonstrable, repeatable means. And that way of thinking is the real world. Of course, if you can demonstrate things, it's real life.
Proof can only exist when there is no doubt, and there is always doubt. You could be a bot in the Matrix right now, living in a crazy simulation, like the woke bros be saying. You could be hallucinating everything. You cannot prove anything. So what is to be done, huh? Well, either you can sit down and just accept the world is a chaotic, insane place, and that since you cannot prove anything about reality, there's really no point of trying. F it, right?
Well, close enough. You can accept the things that can be demonstrated and question the things that can't be yet.
Or you can gather evidence, and the evidence leads to there being a God of this world.
How? The only evidence for a god that I see is that sometimes life is shit, and that is because the universe is one big shit that came from the gigantic multicoloured asshole of Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, leave be upon her.
Well then, okay, how? How do I know without your Bible saying so? Huh? You can't. I only believe in things I can touch, hear, smell, my five senses. Not your unicorn daddy. Don't bring up the Bible right now. We're going off logic here, Matt. Do you believe in love, Matt? Yeah, I do. Can you touch love?
You can study love with physiological and neurological changes associated with the feeling. Measuring oxytocin and dopamine levels in the bloodstream can show the intensity of romantic feelings for a partner. It doesn't demonstrate the partner, but it does demonstrate a measurable reaction.
Nope. Why? That doesn't matter. So you believe in emotions. You believe in things that you cannot touch, taste, feel, or even... No, I can feel love. That's not true. Can you put love on a scale? Can you weigh it?
Can you put any of the gods on a scale and weigh it? Comparing a god to emotions isn't how you go about proving a god.
No, but I can feel it, for sure. You can't tell me otherwise. Okay, sure. Would you say it's a physical feeling or a metaphysical feeling? No! I see what you're trying to do here, okay? I know I have the 5 senses and I can't use them here, but I know I have a brain. That is considered my 6th sense as well, that I can feel love. So how do you think these senses are communicated? What communicates these senses to you? I would have to say my brain. Exactly. So it's your brain that communicates your physical senses to you, yet your brain also communicates a metaphysical sense. It does not create it. It communicates it to you. So this is showing you again, you believe in and acknowledge a metaphysical existence that goes beyond your physical senses.
Here, let me put some words in your mouth. Jeez. I don't accept that, since emotions can be measured and observed. Are you trying to make out that the God you believe in is just an emotion?
So you believe in something that is beyond your physical senses, and that's okay.
It's not beyond. It is.
Now that we know the metaphysical realm is real, that brings us to the creation of the universe.
This is the problem when theists just talk to themselves. They can come up with any old nonsense and then answer their ridiculous questions with more ridiculous.
How would you say it came to be? I would say the Big Bang Theory. It's the most logical explanation we have to understand how we got here.
Don't do the atheists think everything comes from nothing line. Atheists believing that everything came from nothing is absurd, because you know that they think that's what atheists think, despite the moment that this all came to be being nothing to do with atheism.
If you were to rewind it all the way back into an infinitely small point that was combined and congested, all the way up until it was nothing, and suddenly there's energy, there's matter, there's heat, boom, matter explodes, energy explodes into the universe, boom, we have the universe created. So you think I'm not going to notice you left out one of the most important components of that happening? You know a star exploded, right? No. Oh, bro, that is not the Big Bang Theory. What do you mean that's not the Big Bang Theory? You think it just boom, boom, pow, and it just happened? Yes, that's the definition of the Big Bang Theory. There was no stars yet. There was no gravity yet for a star to be held.
There's no way you could know that. There could well have been holes and hot glowing gases previous to the moment we can observe from. And instead of saying, no, it was a god, why not let folks who trained in this their whole lives find some answers?
There was no space for a star to be at. All that came to be from the Big Bang. So you said this makes more sense to you. Okay, you got a point there. I digress. So we have this foundation, and we know scientifically that the universe was created. It had a beginning.
Had a beginning and was created are not the same, bud. I'll accept had a beginning, but created... that's a no from me.
Now, hold on. There's not a scientist on the planet that will say that. Do you know who Stephen Hawking was? Yeah, of course. He said the universe began. He was an atheist, by the way.
I would think that created in that instance would just be an oversimplification so that even a layman floating circle would understand what he was trying to say.
And he tried to come up with the resolution of getting away from God, and he came up with the universe created itself because of gravity.
Is here because of gravity.
Fry. And Stephen Hawking was a genius, by the way. This is how foolish atheism would make a genius, bro. A genius would become a fool in an instant, because now they are saying things that are inherently contradictory. You cannot say the universe is created, however it created itself. That's a bold-faced contradiction. It's straight up stupid. This would be so unlogically miraculous. It's more extreme than some of the miracles in the Bible. You don't think you are being biased about this, Bible boy? I mean, I'm biased towards truth. I don't care about my feelings in none of this.
And he's almost there again. I care about the truth, but it's getting there. Instead of going with a book, I think many folks would say it's okay to say, I don't know. Let's find out.
Okay, but whose truth? It's the truth. There is no whose truth. No. See, man. See, here it is.
I really don't think an atheist would say, whose truth?
So you believe truth is subjective? Yeah, it can be. And there is some subjective truth, though. Now, what you just said, is that objective or subjectively true? It is absolutely subjective.
All right, he's got the characters mixed up now. Show me an atheist that says truth is based on feelings and opinion.
However... Oh, nah, see, you're tweaking. You see, God is the one who made the rules.
Hang on. You just said you care about things that are true. How on earth could you demonstrate the truth of a God making rules? And how can you show it to be your God specifically, especially when there are tons of other gods apparently doing the same thing, with just as much evidence of them existing?
And when you start to go against the rules, you begin to float on a position that is baseless, that you have no foundation on. It's scary. That's why people like Stephen Hawking will have positions that are self-refuting.
It's not self-refuting if you presuppose a God and then say it can't work because your God exists.
And it doesn't take a genius to see it. Okay, whatever. So now what? So now we know that's cap. We need a reasonable explanation that follows that's logical to say. So what that mean, God? Abso-freaking-lutely.
No, it doesn't. You can just say that you have explanations because of a God if you don't have proof of its existence, despite promising to do so without the Bible, I might add.
But you have no proof, so you're yap, child. Let's demonstrate. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe begins to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause. This is what we know about the universe.
Cause or explanation for the reason it exists. Don't bring out the kalam cosmos argument. Come on, man.
Time, space, matter, and energy had a beginning. So that means there was a cause that had to be timeless, infinite, not bound to time, spaceless, not limited to space, omnipresent, energy. So it has to be infinitely tireless, meaning all powerful and immaterial, not made of matter, not limited to matter and physical space.
You just described something that doesn't exist, other than Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, leave be upon her, the one that ate all the gods before pooping the universe into existence, thus being the cause.
What would you call that cause? I would say, if I had to call that phenomenon, I would say is. So, what do you think? I said is. Like is. The word is. Just is. Okay. Now, don't get frustrated with me, bro. That's the best honest answer I can give you based off what I know from this knowledge. I'm sorry. No, I actually love your answer. Because this is what God said to Moses in the Bible. Moses says, who are you? What am I supposed to say to the people? Basically, like, who sent me? He says to tell them, I am that I am. In other words, is. Always was, forever will be, just is.
Hold on. What happened to not using the Bible? Even though you've just taken some words that you made up, that atheist character made up, and then twisted it to make it fit a passage.
That description is literally God's name. What? That's gotta be a coincidence.
No, that was shoehorned in.
You know, I think it's kind of funny. Every atheist thinks they're a scientist, but science itself doesn't agree with you.
I wish I was a scientist.
The geniuses of this world don't agree with you. It's time to face reality that you are created and loved by God.
So now the truth you care so much about is just baseless assertions. Got it.
And he wants a relationship with you. Do you want it, yes or no?
I don't need a relationship with an imaginary friend, so nah, I'm good.
But you can no longer say he's not real.
Yes, I can. It still hasn't met the burden of proof of its existence. You've just said it was the only explanation for something. You filled a gap with a word and presented that as truth. Sorry, matey, but hard no.
The evidence is evident. You cannot just say nuh-uh and dismiss the facts that evidence leads to. I believe in the Big Bang. I just know who banged it. You are not smart enough to be an atheist. This isn't about being right. It's about what's right. It's not about putting 2 and 2 together. It's about putting 2 plus 2 together. These things are common sense that add up and make sense. It's not a puzzle. Stop overthinking it. This very well may be a new perspective. I'm definitely leaning towards the agnostic now, Tim. I'm not gonna lie.
Everyone is agnostic. That's nothing to do with belief. And a condescending tone saying how you conclude something whilst not actually demonstrating it doesn't make it true. Sorry. Tim, was it? You haven't changed any minds other than that one atheist that was really you. And really, he already believed in a god. But good job on your acting skills. I was almost convinced for a second. Did this comedy genius convince you that there is evidence for a god outside of the Bible? Let me know in the section below. I'm going to skeptic this as 7 out of 10 acting, 0 out of 10 convincing arguments. A big thank you to this month's top level ticks on Patreon. Dark Ether Piao, Tamo, The Barely Bearable Atheist, George, Godless Granny, Addy Rockhart, The Enixes, Jakari, Elizabeth, Whiskey Tech Fred and Rick, as well as all the $3 base ticks. You can become a supporter on Patreon too at patreon.com/theskeptic. The link is in the description, along with links to all my other socials. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the Skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.